When we realised that our 10th Wexford Literary Arts Festival coincided with the 100th anniversary of the Battle of Enniscorthy, we couldn't let the moment pass without including a commemoration in our festival plans. Enniscorthy, as you all know, has always been to the fore in the struggle for Irish freedom. From the Pike men and women on Vinegar Hill, over here to my left, to the volunteers at the Athenaeum in 1916, across the road here on my right, and to those who fought in the War of Independence, and the men we commemorate here today who fought during the darkest period of our history.
Good morning to Enniscorthy on this very special occasion to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the Battle of Enniscorthy, which began on the 2nd of July 1922. Today marks my first official engagement as Cartlock of Enniscorthy Municipal District. It's an honour and a privilege to open our sermon today as we commemorate the Battle of Enniscorthy.
Enniscorthy has always been a beacon and a cause of Irish independence. The many revolutions that took place here in Enniscorthy left behind them countless tales of heroism, of idealism, of sacrifice and of hardship.
Anti-treaty IRA, who had been stationed in the courthouse, occupied multiple positions including St Mary's Church, where snipers were positioned atop the belfry in opposition to Free State positions in the castle. Civilians ran for cover. The sound of bomb and bullet was a regular occurrence in the town. Early Wednesday morning, a group of anti-treaty troops positioned themselves along Friary Place at the rear of the post office, which they thought was occupied by Free State forces. We reached the building without a shot being fired. The windows were barred, and the boys smashed the windows with the butt end of their rifles and threw in grenades. A sudden rifle crack. A boy beside me fell. A few more sharp cracks from a distance. Then Paddy O'Brien was staggered and sprawled forward. His collar and neck were stained with quickly flowing blood. Then silence. I banged slowly with my revolver in the direction of rifle fire. When I looked behind me, I saw a man carrying Paddy disappear around the end of the lane. The other man lay flat on his back. He moaned, his face a whitish grey. His eyes were staring. I pulled him in close to the wall. I took cover beside him against the shallow gate entrance and heard him begin an act of contrition, say, oh my God, I am heartily sorry," slowly, haltingly, seemingly unconscious. It must have been a habit with him to be able to say it now when he was dying. He struggled to the last words. There was a little shuddering gurgle, and he was dead. Then, as I looked upon me, at a gate above me was a Wexford officer. He was pressed against the gate, but he was too fat to be under cover. The fighting then continued, with the Free State Force position now looking dire, and the sound of rifle and machine gun fire started in Enniscorthy again. Ernie O'Malley, in describing the conflict, writes that it was decided to use explosives to gain entry into the castle and set fire to the building. A delegation of priests approached him in an attempt to avoid any further conflict. Subsequently, the clergyman spoke with the castle's garrison, and a surrender was agreed. At around 4:15 on Wednesday, the 5th of July 1922, Free State forces in the castle and barracks surrendered to the anti-treaty forces, with a white flag displayed from one of the barrack windows. And then under a white flag of truce, with the clergyman leading, the Free State forces, which had been positioned in the castle for 3 days previously, left. The Free State troops lined up outside the castle, thus bringing an end to the conflict. As they lined up outside the castle, they surrendered their arms and ammunition to the anti-treaty forces. In a show of respect, anti-treaty officers who had previously received the Free State officer's revolver then handed it back. And as they left the castle and barracks, troops on both sides shook hands, acknowledging each other's courage. And thus ended the Battle of Enniscorthy. However, the anti-treaty forces' victory was short-lived. On Friday the 7th of July, upon hearing of the advance of Free State forces south towards Enniscorthy, anti-treaty forces abandoned the town and set fire to the courthouse. That evening, a Free State convoy of armoured cars and lorries entered Enniscorthy and took control of the town. Prisoners previously captured in ferns were placed in the castle, while armed men and vehicles patrolled Enniscorthy. People who had previously fled towards the countryside returned, and some form of normality returned to the town. However, this conflict was not to be the last, and the people of Enniscorthy would experience in the months that remained of 1922 and into 1923 the Civil War that will continue on from this day 100 years ago. And as said previously, recalling the events and people of 100 years ago, it is important to reflect upon them and to do so with empathy and understanding, so that we can ensure the very same for future generations in the next 100 years. Thank you very much, folks.